How long does it take before somebody connects the dots and realizes who your father was and his role with the O.J. Simpson trial? When they hear the name Garcetti, can you kind of see people's minds sort of clicking where you go, okay, I know something's come up here?
Well, I get a couple of reactions. Sometimes they say, "How's your brother?" And I'm like, "Do I really look that old, or does he look that young?" And then it used to be, "Oh, you're the son of Gil Garcetti." My dad, about a year or two ago, said, "Oh, now people come up and say, oh, you're Eric Garcetti's dad." So,
oh, that's
I
cool.
guess, it happens to every dad, and the generation switch. But I love my dad. He was an amazing father. He is an amazing man, and I think the renaissance of the OJ stuff. It was actually a good buddy of mine whose brother made the ESPN series, and so he was reaching out and trying to get an interview with my dad because none of the other ones were falling in place. And I told him, look, it's been 20 years. Tell your side of the story, and the rest of the project kind of fell in place. So I'm glad he was able to get that out there.
But you were in your early 20s probably then when this happened?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
How do you process that? Like, what are your friends saying about, how did your dad, not get OJ in prison, or how did he walk free, or like, I'm curious what happens when you're 20 years of age. Your friends can be pretty honest with you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I was luckily studying. I was lucky enough to study as a Rhodes Scholar. I was in Oxford when most of it went down. So, and even in Africa, doing some of the research for the academic work I was doing. So I was about as far away from the action, which was a good, peaceful place to be. But we all scratched our heads. But my dad knew. Jimmy Carter was the first guy who told my dad, long before the jury verdict came in, he said, look, they are not going to convict him. And everybody else was confident. And looking back, my dad said Jimmy Carter was the one guy who knew it just wasn't going to happen. But, justice came in a different way. And I think it's been a really great lens for us to look at how far we've come, but still how far we have to go in these kind of look backs at what we've done and where we've come from. As race in America still is a big issue. We made a lot of progress, but we still have a lot of way to go.
Why did Jimmy Carter think OJ would walk?
He just said that it was going to be payback, that there had been rightfully so much injustice to the African American community that a jury. He told my dad this was going to be payback. It wasn't about whether he was guilty or not. It was the symbolism. And it was a profound statement to come from a former president who realized the pain of race relations, the legacy of slavery, the injustices visited upon African American men, the criminal justice system. And O.J. certainly wasn't your typical American. He was a celebrity, a great athlete, but it was a symbol, he said, more than looking just at the evidence.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.